In today's day and age, change is moving at an extraordinary pace, making us vulnerable to falling for the seismic shifts that unsettle our sense of stability. This video discusses the ways that we can navigate this seismic uncertainty. This is a seismic reflection profile from the U.S. Geological Survey. The layers show the sedimentary deposits under the Earth that have been variably folded, truncated, deformed, and are all associated with the San Gregorio fault zone, shown in the yellow lines. There are some clear, distinct patterns, along with tension and movement, pockets, voids, and gaps. It's also difficult to assess and discern what is happening, but there are also some deep and thick bands. This is helpful as a metaphor to understand that the Earth is always moving. There's always change in nature and in organizations, and we need to be prepared to be able to respond appropriately. Seismic uncertainty recognizes that change occurs both in nature and in organizations. People naturally seek stability and constancy. Stability is the protection that our primitive brains, fight or flight, seek. And organizational disequilibrium can cause considerable fear, uncertainty, and concern. Generally, humans appreciate a steady state, a desired way that is fairly normal and steady. Change can often come in the form of roller coasters or what feels like very hills and valleys. This is called proximate change and is the change that is closest to us and the most understandable in our daily lives. We see it constantly. Seismic uncertainty is all around us, and it really is about the idea that there is so much happening so quickly. There are known unknowns, but there are also unknown unknowns. And so this seismic uncertainty is really challenging because there's so many things happening at once. Navigating seismic uncertainty can be challenging, but it is possible to manage it by effectively focusing on stabilizing basic needs, our steady state, making positive, quick rebounding changes when things happen, and by maintaining a steady state, we can also ensure that our basic needs are met. This provides a solid foundation for handling uncertainty. Proximate changes are positive. They allow for quick recovery from dips and are crucial to the process. It's also then important to view seismic uncertainty as peripheral background noise that is not overwhelming or all-consuming. By doing so, we can navigate through uncertain times with resilience and confidence. So how can we enhance our steady state? First of all, let's focus on gratitude, the things that we are thankful for. There are so many we can be. Next, it's helpful to keep a journal. These are ways that we can record how we feel. Don't doom scroll. The technology is great, but boy, it can be distracting. Instead, read a book or listen to soothing music, anything to be able to help us get back to that core, that steady state. Again, uplifting music really does wonders. There's real research on this. And it's also important to be physically active, working out, walking, just being outside. Again, these are all things that are small, easy, and enable us to be more connected to our steady state. Next, we can focus on those proximate changes. It's important to remember that we, each of us, have agency and ownership over our lives. We have the choices that we can make and we can act on. And so that piece is so critical to be able to know that we have control over the way we feel and act. This is critical to building support systems, positive relationships, friendships. Very important to be able to have those very good systems that enable us to rebound quickly. Meditation or mindfulness is also another great way to focus on our proximate choices. Using technology is a great assist here as well, now that many apps and websites and YouTube videos are available. Thinking about what gives us the most satisfaction and then driving towards that can be very, very helpful. When setbacks happen, which they will, it's important that we think about rebounding quickly through a growth mindset, using the toolkit of resilience and well-being. These are really important. Knowing that we have the tools, we have the information to be able to rebound quickly is very, very important. So then we want to reduce the seismic uncertainty. Here we can be aware of the issues that are happening, but we don't need to fixate on them. We don't need to go down the rabbit hole of what if, what if, what if. We can plan and use that as a way to reduce that seismic uncertainty, but we don't need to fixate on them. We want to eat healthy, reduce our alcohol intake, sugary drinks, and again, that goes back to the exercise and being well. Watch out for the victim mentality. This is certainly something that is prevalent that can be really damaging, and so we want to watch for that. Look for resources on how to reduce that. Again, it goes back to ownership. We then also want to write out different plans. We can update them as circumstances evolve, but what we can't do is try to control every single detail. Again, this is knowing the issues are out there, being observant, but not obsessed. And then finally, focus on your personal values, your purpose, your mission, and development. What drives you to do your best? Think about one goal each day that you can get accomplished, that you have control over, and do it. William Bridges. It's a framework that helps both organizations and individuals understand and manage the human side of change. It focuses on the psychological process that people go through during change rather than the external events themselves. And I think this is really helpful here. There are three stages that individuals experience during major transitions. The first is ending. This stage involves recognizing and acknowledging the need that the end happens. The old way of doing things has gone away. In a way, it is reminiscent of our grief and loss. People let go of familiar routines, relationships, and identities. Then they move to the neutral zone. This is a period of uncertainty, confusion. The old way has ended, but the new way has not been fully established. It's really disorienting. It's that seismic uncertainty in a lot of ways. Anxiety and fear reside here significantly. It's a little bit like wandering in the wilderness, right? But then new beginnings. New beginnings are a renewal. It's embracing the new way of doing things, looking to build new routines, new relationships, and new identities. It is a time of hope. It's excitement as people look forward to the future. So here in the endings, you want to think about what is been lost, how to manage that losses. Consider what is over, what's being left behind, but what will be kept. What's hold on to? How can those be celebrated, remembered, and cataloged? Neutral zone is that wandering in the wilderness, but yet it's also about creating new processes and fashioning new roles, being open to learning, growth, repatterning our minds to the new, the change, and being able to fashion our new roles and identities. But it's also about experimenting. This is a great time to see what works for us. And then finally, new beginnings, new direction, new values, attitudes and behaviors. The vision really comes into focus. The energy, the excitement, things are happening. We can reorient ourselves. We can make sure that we are able to move forward in these new beginnings. This is where the the action, the ideas really come forward. And of course, there are emotions that come with each of these. And those are okay. We need to acknowledge those emotions. Another important tool in our reducing seismic uncertainty toolkit is cognitive reframing, sometimes called cognitive restructuring. It's a powerful psychological technique that involves the way, then changing the way we talk and perceive about ourselves, our situations, and interpret those situations that we encounter. So let's think about, first of all, it's important to identify those negative thoughts. Being aware, because these negative thoughts inevitably will affect our mood and our behavior. We need to be intentional about flagging them and labeling them as negative. Secondly, we need to challenge the negative thoughts. This is where you can ask questions to challenge the validity. Are they really based on facts or are they based on assumptions? What information do you have versus what information are you making up or inferring? And are there other pieces of data that you can find that will actually refute the initial hypothesis? Finally, replacing these negative thoughts with positive statements. We want more realistic ones. These will change our emotional response, our behavior. It will also look to change the way we encounter challenges in a more positive and realistic outlook. Now, it doesn't mean ignoring reality or making light of problems. Again, it's that seismic uncertainty. We're aware that it's there, but we're able to act and plan accordingly. We want to see the best in situations, in people, and in ourselves. And this starts with self-talk. We all have this. They are the unspoken thoughts that run through our mind, and very often they can be negative. We need to be more positive. We need to be able to be kind to ourselves. Now, this is a skill that can be developed with practice, and it will improve your mental health, your quality of life. So, this is a key technique and it's pretty easy, right? 3 simple steps. Identify those negative thoughts, challenge them, and then replace them with positive statements. Research has shown that there are a number of factors that promote growth and change. The first is universality, the recognition that suffering is not unique to us. There are others who are in similar or worse conditions. The second is hope. Seeing have improved can help increase our optimism. This is how we look at role models. Observational learning is developing positive skills, appropriate coping mechanisms, and this is often by observing others and mimicking them. Interacting with others in a positive, productive manner, giving you the tools and skills to experiment, is all about interpersonal learning. Guidance is about offering direction and vision, but also accepting direction from a core group around you. Cohesion and support is about cultivating acceptance and building strong, supportive relationships, seeking to belong. Self-disclosure is about revealing personal information, especially those thoughts and feelings. Again, like we talked about, identifying those negative ones and then reverting to a more positive statement. Catharsis is very similar. It's releasing the pent-up emotions, but in a positive and useful manner. Altruism. When we help others, we increase our sense of self-worth and self-efficacy. And that is really important. Helping others goes a long way. And insight, using reflection and other processes to gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our emotions. And this is where a values assessment can be so important and helpful as we continue to navigate the seismic uncertainty. Moving in a way that causes such disequilibrium that we don't know what to do next. Change can be fast or slow, planned or unplanned, internal or external. Sometimes it's in our control, sometimes it's not. But hopefully this short video and the tools that we discussed can be helpful for you. Feel free to leave any other strategies or ideas or helpful hints for you in the comments. And most of all, look for the good. Notice and reflect on everyday positive experience. Identify the good that is happening. Deliberately recognizing the smallest of these good things is so important. Take care of yourself, take care of one another, and reduce that seismic uncertainty.